Right now on Hoosier News Source, another sexual assault reported to IUPD.
And a plan to give students more power to city government.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Ella Rhoades.
And I'm Jack Lindner.
The death toll is now over 100 after the Category 4 storm Hurricane Ian decimated large portions of Florida. Many survivors have lost their homes and have no clean water or power after massive storm surges that broke records in some areas like Naples. That flooding has continued into the week, leaving many stranded in their homes or neighborhoods. According to Governor Ron DeSantis' office, so far over 1,600 people have been rescued, and that number is expected to rise.
A rape was reported at Briscoe Quad over the weekend. According to IUPD crime logs, it occurred on September 25th at Briscoe and has been referred to university officials for review. This case is the 7th sexual assault report during this year's Red Zone, the time from August to Thanksgiving when the risk of sexual assault on campus is highest.
Bloomington PD also said that as of September 26th, they received 4 reports of sexual assault. Cases occurred on North Roosevelt, South Walnut Street Pike, South Lincoln Street, and East 3rd Street. The case on East 3rd Street allegedly happened in 2018, but the victim told BPD last week about the assault. The case is ongoing. And the Bloomington City Council is in the process of redrawing council districts after the 2020 census.
A redistricting commission has been tasked with drawing out the new map, which is being considered for approval tomorrow night. But one councilman says the map doesn't go far enough. HNS reporter Ashton Hackman joins us in studio with more. Ashton?
Ella and Jack, Bloomington City Councilman Stephen Volan says he is willing to give up his seat if it means a student will have representation on council. Volan is advocating for an all-student district, but not everyone I spoke to is as passionate.
Where to draw the lines? That's the question City Council and the Redistricting Commission are attempting to answer.
Every 10 years, the government conducts a census, and they use that to redistrict Congress. But every jurisdiction that's divided into districts in America has to redistrict.
The Redistricting Commission has proposed a map of their own, but City Councilman Stephen Volan has proposed his own map. It includes a council district that is only student housing. Volan says his map is similar to the map proposed by the commission and that he is willing to make a sacrifice.
The map the commission came up with zoned me out of the district I currently represent. They put my precinct in a different district. None of the maps that I submitted that I'm proposing include me back in that district.
The proposed all-student council district includes most student housing here on campus, but some on council have concerns over a lack of student involvement in elections.
Traditionally, students have not voted in very high numbers. The student turnout has been very low, and so I'm concerned if there's a district that really only has students, are we going to have a council member who's elected by like 30 people?
But Volan says an all-student district would only encourage participation.
If students knew that there was a district that could only be had by a student, they'd be paying more attention to the city issues that affect them.
City Council convenes tomorrow night at 5 p.m. to decide whether to adopt the commission-drawn map or send it back. I did reach out to members of the commission and no one was willing to be interviewed. Council has until the end of the year to enact the new districts.
So is there any indication of how the council will vote on the map?
It's safe to say that Volan will send it back. Isabel Piedmont Smith also seems as if she's going to send it back, but for different reasons. But again, there is a lot of people, so no definitive answer as of now.
All right, thanks, Ashton, for your reporting. And another group has filed a lawsuit over Indiana's abortion ban following the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. The Satanic Temple is a Salem-based religious group out of Massachusetts with over 1.5 million members from around the world. There are at least 11,300 members here in Indiana. Their suit claims that the satanic abortion ritual is a protective right for women and wants to protect female members who are involuntarily pregnant and women who want to remain anonymous. Other groups that are currently filing suits are the ACLU of Indiana and Planned Parenthood.
Now for the latest on this week's weather, Kayla Craig is here to tell us what to expect for the forecast for homecoming this weekend. Kayla?
Thanks, guys. Hurricane Ian made landfall near Fort Myers on Wednesday afternoon as a Category 4 hurricane, and it made its way across the Florida Peninsula and back into the Atlantic, where it weakened back into a tropical storm before strengthening into a Category 1 hurricane, making landfall in South Carolina on Friday afternoon. Ian's path was met with severe flooding and high winds, and many are still left without power as affected areas begin to recover and rebuild. Let's see what to expect for our game day forecast. It'll be a chilly homecoming game this Saturday against Michigan. If you're heading out early to tailgate, you'll definitely want to bundle up. Kickoff is at noon, and it can be expected to be in the low 50s, so definitely on the chilly side, but the sun will be out and it won't be very windy, so maybe wear some layers you can take off once the energy of the stadium warms you up. Let's take a look at the rest of the week. After today and tomorrow, temps will drop down, making for a pretty chilly weekend. Areas of frost are likely Friday night into Saturday morning and Saturday night into Sunday morning. It seems like temps will start to go up, though, as we head into next week. Stay safe and have a great week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we'll bring you the highlights of IUSG's Red Zone panel.
And the latest in the changes coming to the Kelly School of Business. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Olivia Oliver is here with the latest on international news. Olivia?
Thanks, Jack. Brazil's heated presidential debate will go on to a second round to decide the winner. A runoff vote will be held on October 30th after neither candidate won a large enough majority of the votes to claim victory. The left-wing candidate and former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has a small margin over the right-wing incumbent President Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is a controversial figure, often called the Trump of the tropics. A soccer game in Indonesia turned deadly after angry fans rushed onto the field following their team's defeat. The Arema Football Club lost to rivals Persebaya Surabaya, prompting the Arema fans to rush onto the field. No Persebaya fans were allowed into the stadium for this game since violence has broken out here before due to rivalries. Many of those were killed due to trampling or asphyxiation as police tried to control the chaos using force and tear gas. Family members are angry with the police for what they call a panicked response. And the European Union has summoned Russian ambassadors to talk after Russia illegally annexed parts of Ukraine last week. Putin announced Friday that a fifth of Ukraine would be seized by Russia, making the millions who live there Russian citizens, quote, forever. The annexation, which is illegal under international law, would seize 4 areas that are already occupied by Russian forces or Russian-backed breakaway groups. EU leaders summoned the Russian ambassadors in each EU member state to condemn this action and demand they stop the process. That's what's going on around the world. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Olivia. IU Student Government hosted a panel last Wednesday on the Red Zone for students concerned with sexual assault on campus. The Red Zone is the time between mid-August and Thanksgiving when sexual assaults on college campuses are at their highest. The panel included IU students and faculty who talked about how to support survivors, how to report assaults, and how to prevent them. Sam Hammett, one of the faculty panelists, said it is often just takes one person stepping in when they see something wrong.
I will preach it from the rooftops as long as I'm allowed, is bystander intervention. Like, we have to take care of each other. We have to be willing to be a little awkward and a little uncomfortable and step into a problematic situation.
The current number of sexual assaults at IU during this year's Red Zone is now at 7.
A search and screen committee has been formed to identify finalists for the new dean of the IU Kelly School of Business. Dan Smith served as the dean of the school since 2005, but is now the president of the IU Foundation. Idaline Kestner took over as interim dean in early September. This search committee includes faculty who teach in Bloomington and Indianapolis, professional staff, students, and alumni of the Kelly School. The search for a new dean is nationwide. And IU named former U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams as polling chair for the Kelly School of Business. This position, named for Kelly alum Harold Polling, is meant to prompt discussions about leadership and topics related to the public and private sectors of business. Adams formerly served as the U.S. Surgeon General, a member of the Coronavirus Task Force, and is still a practicing anesthesiologist.
Flu season is right around the corner, but IU has faculty, students, and staff covered. This past Saturday started the flu clinic at the health center on campus. To get a flu shot, patients must schedule their appointment online. The clinic will take place every Wednesday this month and Saturday, October 29th. According to IU Health, the flu causes over 200,000 hospitalizations and 24,000 deaths on average each year.
I didn't get the flu shot last year and I got the flu and I regretted it. And I also heard it was supposed to be bad this year.
Students, faculty, and staff can schedule an appointment at healthcenter.indiana.edu. All right, homecoming is this weekend, and sadly, IU suffered another loss against Nebraska. Hank, what can we expect for this Saturday?
Well, IU has a strong test on their hands facing off against Michigan. But last week in sports, start with the IU women's volleyball team. They kicked off their Big Ten homestand with a dominating performance over the Iowa Hawkeyes, 3-0. Junior Morgan Geddes led the way for the Hoosiers with 12 kills, and sophomore setter Cameron Hayworth contributed with an impressive 32 assists and 6 kills of her own. They had an incredible team hitting percentage of .308 as this win marked the first back-to-back conference wins for IU since 2018. The women were unable to make it 3 straight, losing at home to the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 3-1 on Saturday night. Maddie Saris had the team high with 11 kills, but the Hoosiers had a poor hitting day, only averaging .069 as a team. They have a chance to get back in the win column against a difficult 7th-ranked Wisconsin team at home Wednesday night. Speaking of football, the IU football team did drop their first Big Ten game of the season at Nebraska Saturday night 35-21 to move to 3-2 on the season and 1-1 in the conference. After trailing early, the Hoosiers erased a 14-point deficit to knot the score at 21 before halftime. Quarterback Connor Bazelak and the offense would never find that groove in the second half and finished the game just 2 for 15 on third down conversions. Head coach Tom Allen mentioned after the game, the costliness of penalties, which IU had 11 of, and the lack of execution are the reasons for the loss. Continuing on, the IU men's soccer team won their first conference game of the season, taking down the Northwestern Wildcats at home Tuesday night 4-1. Indiana was scoreless through the first half with 5 shots on goal, and after going down 1-0 in the 47th minute, IU would not look back, scoring 3 goals in just 6 minutes to take a 3-1 lead as IU cruised to a victory. Yet on the road, facing the same Michigan team will play on Saturday. On Sunday, IU battled back down to tie and pick up their 3rd draw of the season and 2nd in Big Ten play 2-2. Reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Daniel Mooney, saw his first action since August 9th and scored the equalizer in the 82nd minute. The women's soccer team remains scoreless in the Big Ten with 2 losses this past week to Ohio State and Nebraska. Indiana found themselves down 1 at the break in both games, but were unable to come up with offensive scores. They finished both games with 3 shots on goal and will look to notch their first conference win next Sunday at Rutgers. Finally, a record-breaking performance from redshirt senior and Columbia transfer Alexis Florio. Florio shot a 6-under par in the Edie Odom Invitational final round as she set the all-time IU women's golf record for the lowest round by an individual in any tournament. Florio also set the record for lowest total tournament score by an IU women's golfer with a 205 5-under. These impressive feats have not only etched her name in IU's history books, but have put IU women's golf on the map around the country. Congratulations, Alexis.
Thanks, Hank, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ISTV News.
I'm Jack Lindner.
And I'm Ella Rhoades from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next week.